What was your "that's not what I expected" story? I thought taking a year off after high school to travel would be this amazing adventure where I'd find myself. My parents were totally against it, especially my dad. He'd worked his whole life to save for my college, and here I was, wanting to blow it off to backpack through Europe. We had this massive fight where he told me I was throwing my life away, and I told him he never understood me. I stormed out that night with my passport and the $5,000 I'd saved from my part-time job. I was so angry I didn't even say goodbye properly. I just left a note saying not to worry and that I'd figure things out on my own. The first few weeks were exactly what I dreamed of. Hostels in London, making friends from all over the world, feeling completely free. Then my wallet got stolen in Barcelona. All my cash, cards, everything gone. I called my mom crying, but she just said, "Your father said you needed to learn responsibility. They wouldn't wire me money." I was furious. I ended up washing dishes at this tiny restaurant for 2 weeks just to earn enough to move on. Things got worse in Italy when I got really sick and couldn't afford a doctor. I was sleeping on a park bench because I couldn't pay for a hostel. That's when I met Marco, this older Italian guy who offered to let me stay at his place until I got better. He seemed nice enough, and I was desperate. His apartment was beautiful, overlooking the water in Naples. He made me soup and gave me medicine. I started to recover, but then things got weird. He'd sit and watch me sleep, and I'd wake up to find him just staring at me. He started asking me to model for his photography business. When I tried to leave, he got angry and said I owed him for his hospitality. I managed to sneak out one night while he was sleeping and spent my last 30 euros on a train ticket to the next city. I was completely broke, sick again, and terrified. I finally swallowed my pride and emailed my dad, telling him everything and begging for help. I expected a lecture or maybe even silence, but what I got shocked me. Less than 24 hours later, he was standing in front of me at the train station. He dropped everything, bought an emergency flight, and come to find me. I broke down crying when I saw him. Instead of yelling, he just hugged me and said, "I've been so worried." On the flight home, he told me something I never knew. When he was 19, he'd also run away to find himself. He ended up stranded in Mexico, addicted to drugs, and nearly died before his father found him and brought him home. That's why he was so against my trip, not because he didn't understand, but because he understood too well. He showed me a journal he'd been keeping since I left. Every day, he wrote down his thoughts, his fears, and what he'd say to me when I came home. Some pages were stained with tears. The real shock came when we got home. My bedroom had been transformed into a giant map with pins tracking where I'd been based on my sparse social media posts. My dad had been learning Italian and Spanish, just in case he needed to find me. He'd set up a special savings account with emergency funds for me, even though he'd refused to send money. "I needed you to call me yourself," he explained. "I needed to hear your voice asking for help before I could give it." What I thought was my dad being controlling was actually him being terrified of losing me to the same mistakes he'd made. The biggest surprise wasn't anything I saw traveling. It was coming home and realizing my dad wasn't the person I thought he was at all. He was so much more. We used the college fund for me to start classes the next semester, but every summer we now take a trip together. He's teaching me how to travel smart, and I'm teaching him how to loosen up a little. Sometimes the journey you need isn't the one you think you want.